They said it would never happen. They called us crazy for even thinking it. The forbidden door wasn't just locked, it was welded shut, buried under decades of competition, ego, and bad blood. But what if I told you that door just exploded off its hinges? What if I told you that the wrestling world as we know it died last night, and something absolutely terrifying was born in its place? Because while you were sleeping, while you were living your normal life, the impossible became reality. And when Roman Reigns, Jon Moxley, and Seth Rollins walked through that curtain on Monday Night Raw, they didn't just shock the world, they shattered it into a million pieces. I'm telling you right now, if you think you know what's coming, you don't. If you think wrestling can't surprise you anymore, you're dead wrong. This is SLAMZONE, and what you're about to witness is the moment everything changed forever. But before we dive into this absolute chaos, I need you to do something for me. I need you to be part of this historic moment with us. Hit that subscribe button right now, smash that notification bell, because this isn't just another wrestling video. This is the day the industry broke in half and rebuilt itself into something we've never seen before. Your friends, your family, that person at work who thinks they know wrestling, they need to see this. They need to understand what just happened. So share this video, drop a comment telling me if you think this is real or the greatest work in wrestling history, and let's figure this out together. Because honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it myself. The arena lights are pulsing, the crowd is on their feet, and there's this electricity in the air that you can't fake. You can feel it through the screen. Monday Night Raw just came back from commercial break, and Triple H is standing in the center of that ring with a microphone in his hand and a look on his face that's somewhere between exhausted and victorious. The crowd doesn't know whether to cheer or boo because nobody knows what's happening. There's been rumors, whispers, reports that got shot down within hours. Dave Meltzer said no way. Wade Keller said impossible. Every insider in the business laughed it off as fantasy booking run wild. But Triple H isn't laughing. He's looking into that camera with the weight of the entire wrestling world on his shoulders, and he says the words that nobody thought they'd ever hear. Over the past 6 months, myself and Tony Khan have been in discussions. The crowd erupts. Half of them are losing their minds with excitement, the other half are booing because they think this is some kind of sick joke. The uncertainty in that building is suffocating. You can see fans holding their phones up, recording, texting their friends, trying to make sense of what they're hearing. Triple H continues, his voice steady, but you can hear the emotion creeping in. He talks about competition, about how WWE and AEW have pushed each other to be better, to create moments that fans will never forget. He talks about the talent, the incredible athletes who've given everything to both companies. And then he says it. He says the words that make the entire building go silent. Tonight, we're not here to announce a merger. The crowd deflates. Disappointment washes over them like a wave. But then Triple H smiles, the trademark smirk that's launched 1,000 storylines, and he says, we're here to announce a partnership. A collaboration that will change professional wrestling forever. The place goes absolutely nuclear. The sound is deafening. Fans are jumping out of their seats, hugging strangers, grown men are crying, and you can see it in their faces. They don't know if this is real or the most elaborate work in wrestling history. And honestly, that's what makes it so perfect. Because in this moment, reality and storyline have blurred so completely that nobody knows where one ends and the other begins. This is what wrestling is supposed to feel like. This is that magic that made us fall in love with this crazy business in the first place. The cameras cut to backstage, and you can see the WWE roster gathered around monitors, their jaws on the floor. You've got Seth Rollins standing there with his arms crossed, smirking like he knows something nobody else does. You've got Cody Rhodes looking concerned, probably wondering what this means for his championship reign. The women's division is huddled together, whispering, speculating. And then the camera finds Drew McIntyre, and his face tells a story all on its own. He looks betrayed, angry, like this partnership threatens everything he's fought for. The storytelling possibilities are endless, and you can already feel the wheels turning. Back in the ring, Triple H drops the bombshell that makes everything else look like child's play. Over the next 3 months, you're going to see dream matches that fans have been fantasy booking for years. You're going to see AEW stars compete on WWE programming and vice versa. But tonight, right here, right now, we're starting with something special. Because 3 men specifically requested to be here. 3 men who've carved their names into the history of professional wrestling. 3 men who started a revolution and now want to see where it leads. The lights go out. The arena is pitch black, and the noise from the crowd is like standing next to a jet engine. You can hear the anticipation, the desperation for this to be real. And then, that sound. That unmistakable, spine-tingling sound that signaled the arrival of dominance for the past 3 years. Roman Reigns' music hits, but it's different. It's remixed, it's got an edge to it that we haven't heard before. The spotlight hits the entrance ramp, and there he is. The tribal chief. The head of the table. Roman Reigns is walking down that ramp with Paul Heyman by his side, and the look on his face is pure business. He's not smiling, he's not showboating. He looks like a man who just conquered another territory, and honestly, that's exactly what this is. The crowd is split down the middle. Half are chanting Roman Reigns, the other half are booing so loud you'd think he just kicked their dog. But Roman doesn't care. He never has. He steps into that ring, takes the microphone from Triple H, and before he can even speak, the music changes. Jon Moxley's theme hits, and the place somehow gets even louder. Moxley walks out in his signature leather jacket, looking like he just rolled out of the most violent bar fight in history, and there's this look in his eyes that says he's ready to burn the whole place down just for fun. He's smiling, but it's not a friendly smile. It's the smile of a man who knows chaos is about to reign supreme. Moxley joins Roman in the ring, and these two men, these two absolute warriors who've been on opposite sides of the wrestling war for years, are now standing shoulder to shoulder. The visual alone is enough to make your head spin. But we're not done. Because Seth Rollins' music hits next, and when I tell you the roof nearly came off that building, I'm not exaggerating. The visionary, the revolutionary, the man who's been WWE's cornerstone for over a decade, walks out in his flamboyant gear, arms spread wide, soaking in every single decibel of noise. He's laughing, he's in disbelief, and when he gets to the ring, he looks at Roman and Moxley like he's seeing ghosts from a past life. These three men, the Shield, the faction that changed WWE forever, are standing in the ring together for the first time in years. But this isn't a Shield reunion. This is something bigger, something more dangerous. Roman grabs the microphone and his first words are simple but devastating. You wanted change? You wanted something fresh? You wanted to see what happens when the best in the world don't have to choose sides anymore? Well, you're looking at it. This isn't about WWE. This isn't about AEW. This is about proving that we're the ones who run this industry, no matter what letters are on the contract. Moxley snatches the mic next, and his voice is raw, unfiltered. For years they tried to keep us apart. For years they told us we had to pick a side, wave a flag, fight their war. Well, guess what? We don't work for them. They work for us. And if Tony Khan and Triple H finally figured that out, then maybe, just maybe, we're about to give you people the wrestling you actually deserve instead of the watered-down garbage you've been settling for. The crowd doesn't know whether to cheer or riot. This is anti-authority, this is rebellious, this is everything wrestling fans claim they want but get nervous about when it actually happens. Seth takes the mic last, and his delivery is perfect. You think this is about nostalgia? You think we came back to relive old glory? No. We came back because there's unfinished business. There are names on that AEW roster who think they're untouchable. There are champions in both companies who've never had to face the storm we bring. So here's what's going to happen. Over the next 3 months, we're going to tear through both rosters, and when the dust settles, you're going to understand something very clearly. The industry doesn't revolve around WWE or AEW. It revolves around us. Before we continue breaking down what this means for the future of wrestling, I need you to do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to SLAMZONE if you haven't already, because we're going to be covering every single second of this partnership as it unfolds. Join the family. We're building something special here, a community of wrestling fans who aren't afraid to dig deep, ask the tough questions, and celebrate this incredible art form we all love. Drop a comment and tell me who you want to see these three face first. Kenny Omega? MJF? Will Ospreay? CM Punk if he ever comes back? The possibilities are endless, and I want to hear your fantasy bookings. So let's talk about what this actually means, because the implications are staggering. First, the backstage reaction. The cameras caught everything. You've got Cody Rhodes storming into Triple H's office demanding answers. You've got MJF tweeting within minutes, calling this the biggest mistake WWE has ever made. Kenny Omega posted a cryptic photo of himself training with the caption "Finally." The wrestling world is on fire, and we're only 2 hours removed from the announcement. Think about the matches we could see. Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega for the first time ever. Jon Moxley getting a rematch with CM Punk on WWE television if Punk ever returns. Seth Rollins versus Will Ospreay, two of the most athletic performers on the planet. The women's divisions mixing, giving us Rhea Ripley versus Britt Baker or Bianca Belair versus Toni Storm. Tag team wrestling just got exponentially more interesting with the Usos potentially facing the Young Bucks or FTR crossing over to face the Bloodline. But here's where it gets complicated, and this is what's keeping me up at night. What does this mean for championships? Does the WWE Championship suddenly have to be defended against AEW challengers? Does the AEW World Championship get defended on Raw or SmackDown? Are we looking at a unification down the line, or is this truly just a 3-month collaboration before everyone goes back to their respective corners? The business side of this is fascinating because both companies have TV deals, both have pay-per-view structures, both have storylines that were planned months in advance. How do you integrate all of that without one company looking weaker than the other? There's also the talent reaction to consider. Not everyone is going to be happy about this. There are wrestlers in WWE who left AEW because of creative differences or personal issues. There are AEW wrestlers who've made their entire brand about being the alternative to WWE. What happens when those worlds collide in the locker room? What happens when egos clash and old wounds get reopened? The human element of this partnership could be more dramatic than anything we see on television. And let's be real about something. This could fail spectacularly. Wrestling history is littered with failed partnerships, botched invasions, and angles that promised the world but delivered disappointment. The WCW invasion is still a sore spot for fans 20 years later. ECW's resurrection under WWE was a shadow of what made it special. Impact Wrestling's partnerships with various promotions rarely move the needle. So why should we believe this will be different? Because it has to be. The wrestling industry has changed. Fans are more informed, more critical, more demanding than ever before. We've seen what happens when companies play it safe, when they protect their brand over telling great stories. We've watched ratings decline, interest wane, and mainstream attention shift elsewhere. This partnership isn't just about creating dream matches, it's about survival. It's about proving that professional wrestling still has the ability to capture the cultural zeitgeist, to create moments that transcend the industry and become part of the broader entertainment conversation. The final 10 minutes of Raw were unlike anything we've seen in modern wrestling. Roman, Moxley, and Rollins stood in that ring as the entire WWE roster came out. Not to fight, not to confront, but to acknowledge. You had legends like Randy Orton nodding in respect. You had young stars like Austin Theory looking terrified of what this means for their position in the company. The symbolism was powerful, the old guard welcoming back warriors who chose to fight elsewhere but never forgot where they came from. Then the lights flickered, and on the big screen, Tony Khan appeared via satellite. The crowd's reaction was mixed, uncertain. Khan looked nervous but excited as he spoke directly to the WWE Universe. What you witnessed tonight is just the beginning. Next Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, WWE superstars will appear on our show for the first time ever. And I promise you, the names we're bringing will blow your minds just as much as seeing Roman, Moxley, and Seth on Raw tonight. This isn't about one company beating another. This is about giving fans what they've begged for, the best wrestling on the planet, no restrictions, no limitations, just pure competition at the highest level. The show ended with all three men raising their fists in the center of the ring, the crowd chanting "This is awesome," and every single person watching knowing they just witnessed history. Whether this turns out to be the greatest decision in wrestling history or a catastrophic mistake, we were all there for the moment it began. Before I let you go, one last time, please subscribe to SLAMZONE. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update as this story develops. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know because they need to understand what just happened. Comment below with your thoughts, your fears, your excitement. Are you Team WWE, Team AEW, or are you ready to just be a fan of great wrestling regardless of the letters on the banner? This is the conversation we need to be having, and I want SLAMZONE to be the place where we have it. Thank you for watching, thank you for being part of this journey, and I'll see you in the next video where we break down AEW's response. Stay loud, stay passionate, and remember, this is where legends are made, and we're watching it happen in real time.